Have you ever noticed how that one coworker you had known for decades suddenly disappears from the office without a single goodbye? That quiet exit is not just an action, it is a message. These days, millions of people are retiring and slipping away from their jobs as if they were never there. No farewell party, no good luck wishes, not even a call or a message from old colleagues. Just a silent departure, so much so that many are left wondering, did I even matter after all those years of hard work? This is not just a sad personal story. It is a growing social phenomenon that reflects a deeper shift in how we deal with aging, the end of our careers, and the emptiness that follows when we lose a role that once defined who we were. In this video, you will understand why the previous generation was celebrated when they retired, while today many people quietly fade into the background. We will explore what is really going on in the minds of older adults as they begin to feel invisible, and most importantly, how to overcome that feeling of being forgotten so you can continue to live fully and joyfully even after stepping away from the working world. Before we dive in, leave a comment down below with a positive affirmation, like a personal commitment to attract good things into your life. For example, I deserve to live a connected and meaningful life in my later years, or anything you truly wish for yourself. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on heartfelt content like this. Let's build a space full of positive energy where we can grow and thrive at every stage of life. But things were not always like this. There was a time when retirement was a sacred milestone, a moment to step into the light, not fade into the shadows. Those who lived and worked through past decades surely remember that retirement was never a quiet retreat. It was a meaningful marker, honored with heartfelt ceremonies and deep emotions. It was the day someone stood up not to say goodbye, but to be celebrated. In offices, factories, schools, or any workplace, when someone who had dedicated their life to their job was about to retire, everything seemed to slow down. Everyone knew that day would come, and when it did, the whole place paused, to remember to show gratitude and to say thank you. There would be a small party in the office, or a formal ceremony in a hall, where the soon-to-be retiree stepped forward to applause, received fresh bouquets of flowers, heartfelt gifts, and tight embraces from longtime colleagues. Every speech at those farewell events carried a piece of history, a piece of emotion, a piece of the group they were leaving. Retirees were not just seen as people finishing a job. They were viewed as the ones who laid the foundation. They were remembered with gratitude, with stories of both laughter and struggle, and with a legacy built through decades of dedication. They were examples of perseverance, work ethic, and responsibility. They were not just leaving, they were leaving behind a legacy. Back then, retirement was not the end of relationships. In fact, it was when true feelings came to light. Some kept in touch monthly, sent holiday cards, or made calls to check on each other's health. Others still invited their retired friends to traditional team gatherings, or asked them for advice when the company needed wisdom. Those final moments at work became cherished memories: laughter at the farewell party, the misty eyes of co-workers, that firm handshake promising we are still part of each other, no matter where life takes us. People retired in the light, in joy, in tears, and in gratitude. And that helped ease the emptiness, letting them step into old age with full hearts, knowing they had lived a meaningful journey. Looking back, many young people once dreamed, "Someday I hope my retirement will be like that too." But then times changed, and those images slowly faded into rare memories, making room for a new reality, one we will continue to explore next. Maybe it is because too many people are retiring too often that the day which used to be so anticipated now feels vague, no longer stopping anyone in their tracks to truly remember. These days, retirement has become so familiar that it is no longer seen as a meaningful milestone. In large companies, dozens of people retire every year, and it happens so frequently that it has become normalized. People come and go, and everything moves so fast that no one really has the time to stop and truly remember someone. One day you suddenly realize a familiar face is no longer at the morning meeting. No more email replies from them. No voice in the group discussions. But instead of wondering or checking in, everyone just keeps working like nothing happened. And that person, it is as if they never existed. When retirement becomes too common, the special feeling surrounding it starts to fade. Retirees used to be people who devoted their entire lives to their jobs, pouring in endless hours, energy, and passion. Yet on the day they say goodbye, it all ends quietly. No appreciation ceremony, no thank you speech, no one placing a hand on their shoulder to say, "Hope you live happily." That absence might seem small, but it leaves a huge gap in the heart of the person leaving. It feels like disappearing from a world that once meant everything. A lifetime of work ends like a book missing its final page. No one says your name, no one calls, and no one feels the need to say goodbye. And then there are people who leave so quietly that even they do not know how to feel. They tell themselves, well, at least it is simple, but deep down remains a silent question. Was I really not important enough for someone to remember me? The pain is not in the retirement itself. The pain lies in once being part of something, then suddenly becoming a stranger like you were never anything to them. It is a silent kind of hurt, quiet but long-lasting. But it is not only because retirement has become so common. There is another subtle reason why these goodbyes feel so cold. Workplace relationships have grown shallow. In the past, co-workers were an essential part of life. They were not just people you worked with, but also people you shared everyday moments with. A rushed lunch, a few comforting words on a stressful day, or small life stories over a morning cup of coffee. Some relationships were so close that retirement was not a goodbye, but just the start of a new phase. Still meeting up for coffee, still staying in touch, still caring like old friends. But today, the workplace has changed. The pressure, the constant hustle, the rapid turnover of employees have made genuine bonds harder to form. Co-workers have become task partners, working together to get things done, then heading home to separate lives. No more deep conversations, no more relationships that grow over the years. Everything is faster, more practical and distant. So when someone retires, the first thought people have is not sadness or nostalgia, but who will fill that spot on the staffing chart? Someone leaves and someone else takes their place. No one has time to look back or to reflect on how long that person had been part of the team. The retiree, who once sat in countless meetings, who once shared the burdens of hard times with teammates, suddenly becomes just a name deleted from the group email. And strangely, no one wonders, no one feels the loss, because when bonds are shallow, farewells become light, even emotionless. This lack of real connection at work does not just leave retirees feeling empty, it creates a deep void in their spirit. Because no matter how strong someone is, we all need connection. We all need to feel loved, remembered, and that we were once a part of someone else's heart. Without that, the feeling of being left behind becomes impossible to ignore. And perhaps the saddest part is when the retiree themselves begins to believe, "My leaving does not matter." A phrase that sounds light but carries so much pain, because it is the result of years of silent dedication, ending just as silently. No emotion in the goodbye, no one staying in touch, no one even mentioning them again. Just a quiet space, empty, nameless, and unseen. It is not just about fading relationships. Sometimes the retirees themselves choose to leave quietly. They are afraid of causing trouble, afraid of being a burden, so they withdraw silently, as if they were never there. Deep down, everyone wants to be seen, to be remembered. But the longer we live, the more we go through, the more we learn to hide our emotions, choosing quiet over attention. And for many people approaching retirement, this quiet retreat becomes a way of protecting themselves. Afraid of being a bother, afraid of making others uncomfortable, afraid of making things awkward. Today, farewell parties are no longer as easy to organize as before. Companies worry about policies' limited budgets, or simply fear unnecessary misunderstandings. The person retiring knows this, and they do not want to cause extra work. They are afraid that asking for a celebration would be seen as attention-seeking or making a big deal out of it. So they stay silent. They choose to pack up their things on a quiet afternoon walk, out the same office door they have used for years. But this time for the last time. No one notices, no goodbyes. Just them and the memories they carry alone. That hesitation does not come from weakness. It comes from the strength built over years of putting others first. A lifetime of work spent thinking about the team, co-workers and family. And when they leave, they carry that same mindset, I will go quietly so no one has to worry. But sadly, this desire not to bother anyone ends up cutting the very last thread that connects them to a place they devoted so many years to. They do not give anyone the chance to say thank you. They deny themselves the moment to be honored to be sent off. And when they get home, it hits them. They have officially entered a new chapter, and no one even knows. Some people even keep their retirement date a secret from their own family. Not because they do not trust them, but because they do not want to make a big deal, do not want anyone to prepare anything. But within that simplicity lies a quiet loneliness. They were once surrounded by people, by voices calling their name, by handshakes and morning smiles. Now all they have is themselves and the silent question. So, this is it. And then after quietly leaving, many begin to think about going back to their hometown, trying to reconnect with something familiar. But heartbreakingly, they realize there is no hometown left to return to. There was a time when going back home was a beautiful dream, a place with the old house, the wooden fence, familiar neighbors calling your name, and the excitement of coming home during the holidays. But now that dream for many has turned into a bittersweet memory because their hometown has changed. Or worse, it no longer exists. The old houses of childhood may have been sold or have crumbled with time. Parents and grandparents, the souls of that home, are gone. The neighbors have moved away, the younger generation has left to make a living elsewhere. The fields they once flew kites in are now industrial zones, and the dirt roads they used to run on have become paved streets. Cold, unfamiliar. Some return home after decades standing in front of the old gate with a heavy heart. No one recognizes them. There is no one left to hug them, to call their name like before. That land, though still called hometown, no longer feels like a place they belong. Everything has changed too fast, and they, carrying only old memories, suddenly feel like strangers on the very land they grew up on. Others do not even have a real hometown to return to. Born in one place, built a life in another, and ended up settling in a city that never quite felt like home. They became used to the rhythm of urban life, no longer knowing where home really is. When they retire, they move to a distant countryside hoping to find peace, only to be met with a painful truth: they no longer belong anywhere. That feeling of being lost mixed with quiet regret is one of the deepest sorrows of old age. Because a hometown is not just a physical place. It is a feeling of connection, of being wrapped in love, memories and familiarity. When that is gone, then going home feels no different than going further away, alone and empty. When there is no place to return to, no one to share with, retirees begin facing something even heavier: the quiet wounds inside their soul that no one can see. When the job ends, the morning alarm no longer matters, emails stop arriving, and the phone no longer rings with meeting requests. That is when many begin to feel something truly scary: the fear of being forgotten. You used to be important in an organization. You made decisions, carried responsibilities, and now you are standing on the sidelines of society. No one asks for your opinion anymore. No one comes to you for professional advice. No one looks to you during meetings. And you begin to wonder, do I still matter? This sudden shift pushes many into a deep emotional low. Their mood becomes heavy, they get irritable, have trouble sleeping, and some even fall into depression, especially if they do not have a strong mental plan in place for this new phase of life. What should have been restful days can quickly become a long, aimless, disconnected stretch of time with no purpose and no motivation. Worse still, many fall into a cycle of negative thinking that leads to greater isolation. They believe everyone has forgotten about me. From there, they withdraw even more, avoid social interactions, turn down invitations, create distance from friends, even from their own family. Some try to prove they are still relevant by criticizing the younger generation, rejecting change, insisting that back in the day, we did it the right way. But that rigid thinking only makes them harder to be around. They do not realize that staying close to people's hearts is not about being right. It is about being understanding and kind. Another common mistake is believing they are still the center of everything. They used to be the pillar, the guiding voice at work and at home, the one people turn to for decisions, leadership, and direction. So when that position fades, it creates a deep emotional void. They are not used to being overlooked, not used to standing silently on the sidelines as life moves on without their input. It feels like losing their identity. And if they do not learn to adapt to embrace this new role with humility and openness, they risk becoming bitter, frustrated, and deeply lonely, disconnected from the world they once led. Fortunately, retirement is not the end. It is simply a shift, a new beginning, waiting to be shaped. If you know how to live wisely and with intention, this season of life can become your most vibrant, free, and meaningful time yet. A time to explore who you are beyond roles and responsibilities, to reconnect with passions, people, and peace. Life after work is not a void, it is a canvas. When one door closes, another one opens, and retirement is your chance to walk through that new door with more peace, freedom, and ease than ever before. But to truly thrive during this stage, the first thing you need to change is not your circumstances, but yourself. Learn to open your heart, but without expecting or pressuring anyone to care. Genuine connections only come when we do not demand them, and true relationships grow when we respect other people's space. The less you expect, the lighter your heart will feel, and the love that comes your way will feel even more precious. Building a positive mindset every day is the most powerful remedy against loneliness and emptiness. Do not think retirement means the end of growth or learning. Try taking an art class, joining a book club, or simply showing up to local community gatherings. You may be surprised to find how much joy can come from the smallest things, as long as you are open to receiving them. Communication is also a key. At this age, warmth and kindness in your words and actions are more powerful than any argument. Listen more, smile more, spread kindness. A simple check-in, a genuine compliment, or a gentle hug can be enough to connect two hearts. Do not be afraid to be the one who starts. You will receive more than you expect. Learning to keep just the right amount of distance is also an art of living. Stay connected with your community and the younger generation. But there is no need to blend in or try to be the center of attention. You have every right to be yourself, to live at your own pace, as long as you maintain healthy connections with the world around you. And finally, learn to find joy in the little things. A warm cup of tea in the morning, a sunlit chair on the balcony, a trip to the market, or cooking a meal for your loved ones. When you cherish the present and live each moment with your whole heart, you will realize that aging is not dull at all. It is actually a beautiful journey if you choose to see it through eyes filled with love for life. Retirement is not a full stop. It is a comma marking the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter that is softer, freer, but still deserves to be lived fully and meaningfully. Even without the stage lights or the buzz of the workplace, you still deserve to be seen, to be loved, and to shine in your own way. There will be moments when you feel forgotten. Days so quiet it feels like you are invisible. But please do not let that make you forget this one truth. Your worth does not come from whether others remember you. It comes from how you choose to live each day. Live like the evening sun, soft and gentle, but still warm enough to comfort others. If you are already retired or about to enter that stage of life, see it as a chance to do what you love, to slow down and to reconnect more deeply with yourself and with those around you. You do not need to be loud to be seen. As long as you know that living well each day means you are still leaving a beautiful mark on this world. If you have ever felt like you disappeared after retirement, leave a comment down below. I am still living a meaningful life. That will be the most powerful affirmation, not only for yourself, but also for so many others who are quietly going through the same thing. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep walking together on this journey of sharing stories, wisdom, and positive inspiration for life after retirement. Together, let's build a community where everyone is seen, heard, and empowered to live true to their own value.